Chapter 20. He's what? Speak up, Tragan. Albin Doggar couldn't help a small shudder of panic which overlaid his fear of the vice-chairman as he heard the plummy tones of Chairman Freeth himself, albeit distorted by their storm-tossed flight through space. "I said that the President invited them both to dinner," replied Tragan, his face roughened by minute purple pimples. "And you did nothing to stop them going." "How would you expect me to do that? Are you ready to show our hand?" No, of course not," said Freeth. "But this is terrible news. They might tell him anything at all. You must do something. Don't wait until I have landed. Do something now." The sub-controller watched, appalled but fascinated, as Tragan's face started to bubble. "By all means," said the vice-chairman. "What would you suggest?" Freeth's voice hardened. "You are in charge of security, Tragan. Do your job." The bubbling violently increased. "And Tragan, before anything else, in case we have to advance our plans, neutralize the Presidential Guard, but legally. Do you hear me? It must be done legally. Get rid of that meddler, Radley. They're nothing without him." The bubbling was dying down. A rosy flush was sweeping Tragan's skin. "That has already been attended to, Chairman," he said. "So you can do something right. The moon is made of green cheese." The rich chuckle was lost in a burst of static. "I beg your pardon?" "Never mind. Then all you have to do is to limit the damage occasioned by your earlier bungling. I suggest you get on with it." Tragan's eyes were cold and unmoving in his erupting face. "I have your permission to do whatever is necessary." Was there a longer pause than the usual transmission gap before the chairman answered? "Very well," he said, and switched off. Doggar watched fearfully, lest he should be the surrogate target of the vice-chairman's wrath. But, to his surprise, Tragan's face smoothed to a gentle ripple. He rose to his feet, stretched, and said in his flattest voice, "Good. Very good. It's quite time this charade was put to an end." The sub-controller watched him to the door and sighed with relief. He could safely leave the rest of the night to the senior supervisor. At last he could go home. His satisfaction vanished as he pictured his wife waiting for him. His bowels turned to water again. She'd never believe his excuse. She never did. The old boy toddling off like that at least gave them a chance to regroup, discuss tactics, and all that sort of thing, thought the brigadier, firmly pushing away the almost empty decanter. Got to keep a clear head, he thought muzzily. "Even on their own terms," the doctor was saying, "there's one thing missing from the Paradise equation, Lethbridge Stewart." "A good Highland malt?" The doctor ignored his attempted humour. "It could be expressed in several different ways," he went on. "Nothing for nothing and precious little for sixpence, as King Lear very nearly said. There's no such thing as a free lunch, as he might have said if he'd thought of it. Or the higher the fewer." The brigadier sighed. "You've lost me," he said. "How can they keep taking all these riches from the soil if they never put anything back? The more they take, the less there'll be. The equation doesn't balance." Fair enough. But what had that got to do with the price of walnuts, thought the brigadier, taking one and cracking it. "There's only one person who can find out the answers and still be safe," the doctor said. "And that's the President himself. It seems to be quite clear that he's been kept in the dark. It's time that stopped. We must tell him the whole story." "Well done, Doctor," said a flat voice behind them. They turned. An excellent scheme. What a shame you didn't think of it earlier. The voice seemed familiar, but the face, good grief, it was like an overripe plum, a stranded jellyfish, a rotting... "Mr. Tragan, isn't it?" said the doctor. "What a pleasant surprise." No, don't move," said Tragan, stepping forward into the pool of light round the dining table. He produced a gun like an automatic, with an extended barrel and curiously shaped chambers, like the walls of a seashell grouped round the stock. "I think we'd better listen to him, Lethbridge Stewart," the doctor said. "That's a paralyzing stun gun. It doesn't kill you or even make you unconscious, just paralyzes you for a very long time." "A very long time," agreed Tragan. "The rest of your life, in fact. But then, in your case, that's probably quite a short time, isn't it?" "If you kill us," said the doctor quietly, "you'll never manage to keep it quiet." "You think not?" said Tragan pleasantly, his face a rippling pink. "I don't agree, provided we, terminate the contracts of all four of you, so to speak. The United Nations mission would, of course, leave a polite note of regret for its sudden departure. And your friends on Earth, would they send a search party to Paracon?" The blighter was enjoying himself. "Well, whatever you mean to do," said the doctor. "May I suggest you get on with it?" "Mustn't be in such a hurry," said the vice-chairman reprovingly. "We shall now return to your suite and wait for your companions. They're on their way, and then we shall have to come to a conclusion. Or some of us will." The doctor looked past Tragan. He stood up. "I hope you're feeling better, sir," he said, pitching his voice up. Tragan laughed. "You forget I was a policeman, Doctor. You'll have to do better than that." A wheezy old voice came from the darkness. "Thank you, I am. Will you ever forgive my discourtesy?" Tragan spun round, whipping the gun behind his back. "Vice-Chairman Tragan," said the President in displeased surprise, "what are you doing here?" Before Tragan could answer, the doctor stepped forward. "Mr. Tragan had a message for us," he said. "But if you'll forgive me, I'm very pleased that he's here, as he can hear what I have to say to you." The President, who was followed by his two guards and, discreetly behind, Anya Farjan, wheeled himself forward to the head of the table and gestured to his guests to resume their seats. "It may take a little while," said the doctor, "and it's of the utmost importance that you understand clearly." "How very mysterious," said the President. Tragan, who had managed to conceal his gun, stepped forward. "I don't think it would be advisable to—" The President spoke sharply. "Vice-Chairman, you forget yourself, I think." But Tragan was not to be put off. "I'm sorry, sir," he said, "but this man has already—" Now the old man was really angry. "This man, as you call him, is the honoured guest of your president and the ambassador of a mighty world. I will hear no more from you." He turned inquiringly to the doctor. "Well done, that man," thought the brigadier, as the doctor paused as if to marshal his thoughts. "It relates to certain events that took place before we left Earth," he started to say, only to be stopped again. "Forgive me for interrupting," said a fruity voice. "Freeth, by Jiminy!" The President's withered face was beaming. "Never an interruption," he said. "It does my old heart good to see you back. Doctor, Brigadier, may I introduce the chairman of the Paracon Corporation, my son, Balog Freeth." "What?" "We've already had the pleasure of Mr. Freeth's acquaintance," said the doctor calmly. "Your son, you say?" "Why, yes," answered the President. "He took over from me when I resigned to run for president. Would I have trusted my corporation to a stranger? He turned back to Freeth. Sit down, my boy. Pour yourself a glass. The doctor is about to tell us a story. I must say, he has me thoroughly intrigued. Freeth stayed quite still, a slight smile curving his thick lips, his little eyes between the folds of flesh flicking to and fro. There was a silence. The Brigadier looked at Tragan. Was he smiling too? It was impossible to tell. The doctor said, I think the moment has passed, sir. If you'll forgive me, I'll leave it to another time. The President raised an eyebrow. As you will, he said courteously. I shall have to contain my disappointment as patiently as I can. After exchanging a few more polite, diplomatic, empty platitudes, the doctor and the Brigadier were allowed to retire, having expressed the enormous sense of privilege and eager anticipation they felt at the thought of meeting the Chancellor and other ministers of the government the next morning. As they left, Tragan made to follow, only to be stopped by the President's voice, made firm by its sternness. Not you, Vice-Chairman, he said. Before you go, I should like to hear what message can be so urgent that you consider it gives you permission to invade my private quarters. His voice was cut off by the closing of the door behind them. We can't stay here now, the Brigadier said out of the side of his mouth, as he strode down the corridor after the guard escorting them to the front door of the palace. Certainly not, replied the doctor in like manner. But we can't leave without Sarah and Jeremy. Tragan said they were on their way back. Let's hope he was right. At this moment, the pair in question were hanging onto the edges of their seats as Waldo's fly car swooped down towards its home park. In spite of Jeremy's fears that it might drop out of the sky, we don't really know how to work it, and it hasn't got any wings or jet thingies or anything. It had responded immaculately to Sarah's finger-pressing on its home button. So it was that when they arrived at a run at the entrance to the ambassadorial suite, they met the others running the other way. Sarah, thank goodness, said the doctor. Come on, there's no time to lose. Taking no notice of her urgent pleas for him to stop and listen to her, he set off with the Brigadier back the way they'd come. Hey, wait for me, cried Jeremy, as Sarah raced in pursuit. Where are we going? She gasped, as she caught up with the Brigadier. In the TARDIS. We've got to get away. But we can't do that. They're going to kill Waldo. What? Captain Radley? When? How? Execute him, hunt him. Oh, I don't know. What does it matter? We've got to stop them. Doctor, please. But the doctor was disappearing through the door that led to the outside. Sarah dived after him, closely followed by the Brigadier. But as the doctor ran the last few yards towards the TARDIS, which was waiting patiently in the middle of the courtyard, a figure appeared from behind it. You didn't really think we'd be so stupid as to leave your ship unguarded, did you? Said Tragan, his face turbulent. And as Jeremy crashed through the door behind them, Sarah became aware that other figures in purple uniforms and holding strangely shaped guns were appearing from every side. The massive bulk of Chairman Freeth rolled into view. We meet again, Doctor, he said. There was a crack as he squeezed 2 walnuts together in his little podgy hand. Just in time to say goodbye, he went on, and we've hardly had an opportunity to get to know each other. To misquote a little, I think this could be the end of a beautiful friendship. What are you going to do? Said the doctor. Oh, come now, he said, poking an exploratory finger amongst the broken shells. You know very well what I'm going to do. He looked up. The only question is, how? He put half a walnut into his mouth and chomped it up.